Hi, I'm Arlene McIntyre, Creative Director at Ventura Design, and you're listening to Shut the Front Door, a light-hearted podcast that will bring you through the front door and into the homes of influential and interesting people. Home for me is one of the most important things in my life. My career has fortunately given me the opportunity to work closely with people and to help them create a home they will cherish forever.
We are excited to be joined by Irish chef, cookbook author and broadcaster, Clodagh McKenna. Clodagh lives with her partner, Harry Herbert, in Broadspear, a home situated on the grounds of the phenomenal Highclere Castle, where Downton Abbey was filmed. They are currently bringing the property back to life and are aiming to make Broadspare a sustainable working homestead within the next few years. A native of Cork, where she trained and worked at Ballymaloe Cookery School House, Clodagh is one of Ireland's best-loved chefs. Clodagh has just launched her latest cookbook, Clodagh's Weeknight Kitchen in Ireland and the UK, and we can't wait to hear all about it. Clodagh, it's our great pleasure to have you on Shut the Front Door today. Hello.
Hi. Oh, well, thank you for having me on.
And how are you?
I'm good, getting ready to go into lockdown again. I know Ireland is in lockdown and we're now just gone into it. So, ready for round two. But in the midst of, as I said, launching my new book, Coda's Weeknight Kitchen. So that's going really good. And it's a number one in Ireland and it has been for the past 3 weeks. So I'm so grateful and feeling very happy and optimistic right now.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a great Christmas gift as well for people.
Yeah, I think so. And, I wrote this book during the first lockdown, on the first week of lockdown, right back in, when was that, March, April, I decided to do a daily recipe video every day on my IGTV, on the Instagram platform. And, with that, this kind of very engaged and large community formed on my Instagram. And I was doing these daily videos. And what I found was that people were really searching for ideas and kind of know-how on how to kind of look after the kind of the weeknight, dilemma of what to cook. Like, we're kind of sorted at the weekend with, the roast on a Sunday traditionally. And, we all have some, showstoppers that we can do for dinner parties and stuff like that. But during all this pandemic, it really brought out the, you need to cook during the week and how can you do it? And when times are stressful, like we're all in the same, basket all over the world, really, I've got a lot of worries on our plates. And I just wanted to take that bit of a worry or stress kind of out of people's kind of daily routine. And so then the book came about because people were asking, could they get all of the recipes that I was doing every day, in a document? And then I talked to my publisher and she was like, we need to publish all the recipes and create a book that is really focused just on the Monday to Friday quick fast suppers, one and dones where you're just using one vessel to cook it because you don't want to be doing much wash up during the week. Easy, accessible ingredients. So we've got a whole store cupboard recipe section. We've got a meat free section with the kind of the growing, demand for meat free and vegan. And then we've got a Friday night feast section, which are kind of like more, you put a tiny bit more time into it, which is like fish tacos and delicious curries and pizzas. And then we also have a dessert section. So, and I think that's why it's been successful so far. It's because it's a real book. To quote the Telegraph, they called it the most cookable cookbook of the year, and that made me so happy. I was like, my head went to the table and going, oh my god, that's exactly what I want it to be. I don't want it to be a recipe book that's gathering dust. I want it to be user and people that helps people in the kitchen.
Yeah. Exactly. Gosh, I'm definitely going to purchase this book. That's for sure. Oh. I love receiving cookbooks at Christmas time. I just think they're a really lovely present.
Yeah, they really are. We're doing signed copies on in my shop at the moment, and I can't sign enough of them at the moment. And it's so lovely. They're all for Christmas. People are obviously getting, very organized right now, about their shop and also probably, financially, planning their Christmas ahead. Like, I know I'm doing that as well, and kind of buying slowly so that it doesn't become a stressful time coming up to Christmas. And of course, we might be separated at Christmas. So, you need to have things that you can easily package up and pop in the post.
Yeah, that is so true. And Clodagh, massive congratulations on your engagement.
Oh, thank you. We're very happy. We're over the moon.
Yeah, gosh, exciting times ahead.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So we got engaged about 6 weeks ago. And then, we'll do the wedding when all this pandemic is over.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's something really special to look forward to.
It is. Yeah. And lovely. It's something lovely for all of our family as well to kind of celebrate and look forward to as well.
Exactly. Now, I'd love to chat with you, if I may, about your first memories of your childhood home. Can you take me back to those memories?
Yeah, so I grew up in the country, just outside of Cork, and got my childhood memories. What are they? I guess my big childhood memories would be baking on a Saturday morning with my sisters and my mom. And at this time of the year, we would have been, I guess a couple of weeks back, we would have been picking blackberries and making them into jam. I went to a very small local school. And then during the summer, which from when I was 12 years old, I did a French exchange like a lot of Irish people did at the time. And I got on so well with the family that I ended up going back for the full summers every year to this lovely French family in the north of France. And I really learned so much about French cuisine there. The mother was a stay-at-home mom, kind of managing and running the household. And she was a fantastic cook. And she taught me so much. And so that is, I guess, my childhood kind of summed up.
Right. So do you think that's when your passion for food began?
Definitely, yeah. I started at a very young age, and then I went to university in New York, and then when I came back, I did the Ballymaloe Cookery course, and I stayed there for 2 to 3 years under Rory O'Connell and Dorina and the late Mrs. Allen, which was so lovely. And then I went from there on to running and developing farmers markets around Ireland, and working and running slow food. In Ireland, we started up the first kind of conviviums, and then I did the first ever kind of national event. I wanted to do a big national slow food event, so I did that. And then I actually went and lived in Italy and worked with slow food out there for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've had a big food career.
My gosh, you certainly have. And I suppose traveling is such an important element to all that you are and all that you know and everything that you've acquired up to now. Do you sometimes go back and remember recipes that you learned, for example, in France and Italy?
Oh, absolutely, definitely. I mean, there's so many recipes even in the book, like the pasta dishes, from Italy, that really easy cooking, with kind of simple ingredients. And then definitely the French cuisine, like gratins and casseroles, and just all the different tips on how to, if you're making a beef casserole, to add in a little bit of dark chocolate into it. Or if you're making a chicken casserole, make sure you add in some, mustard into the broth or the stock when you're making your casserole, and also some fresh tarragon or shallots, and those things that just became kind of second nature to me into my cooking, and how to make the perfect tiramisu, or how to make fresh pasta, or how to make that risotto like it swims like a river, all those kind of those things that you can only really get if you live in the country, those tips that you get from people, Italians cooking, daily with them, and kind of experiencing all those things.
Exactly. Have you ever tried lemon tiramisu?
I haven't. Oh my God, that sounds delicious.
Oh my God, Clodagh, it is so delicious.
So how
I
does
had it
that
first
work?
in Ischia, in the south, near Positano, the Amalfi Coast region.
Yes.
And there was a little restaurant we always go to there when we go there, and they serve homemade lemon tiramisu, and it's divine.
So I'm actually writing it down as we're talking. I'm like,
so good. And it's so lovely because it's light, even though there's limoncello in it, but it's so delicious. And it's really light and refreshing.
The boudoir biscuits are dipped in limoncello and not coffee. Is that how it works?
Exactly.
And do they put lemon zest then through the cream of it?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm
It's
writing
delicious.
that down. Thank you. Next book. That is such a great idea. That sounds delicious. Oh my God.
Oh,
Do you want any more?
is. It really is. And we've tried making it at home. No doubt you'll make it better than anyone I know, but and you'll probably put your own twist and stamp on it too. But yeah, it's one of those special little things you take away with you, especially from Italy. We travel a lot there, and I just love the food and the truffles and just everything.
I'm wondering if you could put a lemon, a little layer of lemon curd into that tiramisu.
Oh, stop.
That would be
My
so
mouth
good.
is watering.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
Moving on
So
from the lemon tiramisu.
I absolutely love your hens, and they're fantastic names.
Oh, I know.
Can you share a little more with us? Where did you get the names from?
I'm actually looking out at them right now because they're. I have a studio which is separate to the house, and it overlooks the window where my desk is, overlooks the hen house. And they have brought us so much joy. They've been with us now for 6 weeks. They're Burford Browns, and their names are Saoirse, Tina, Yoko Ono, Hennet Paltrow, Goldie Hen, and I'm forgetting one. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting one.
The Gwyneth.
And Dixie Chick. So,
oh, hilarious.
Yeah, and they're laying so well. They're laying like 5 to 6 eggs a day. And they love their
Good
little
girls.
house. They love my soda bread. So I always make an extra little batch and I crumble it up during the week for treats for them in the afternoon. And they're just, they're absolutely heavenly.
Did it take you long to settle into Broadspare?
I think like any home, it takes a couple of years to get used to kind of new surroundings and new life.
Yeah.
Like I'd gone from, very full life in London, with it kind of a very big kind of social circle there and everything. And then just adjusting to, living in the middle, in the middle of the country. Like we're very remote in the country, like we're in the middle of a very large park and, there isn't any walkers by or anything like that. So kind of getting used to that. Saying that, we're only 40 minutes on the train into London, so we're not that. It's easy to get back and forth. But just getting into that new way of life and also I'd always wanted to try to be as sustainable as I can. And I always talked about it and all the rest, but talking and doing are very different. And then, when you decide you're going to do it, it's a big commitment all of a sudden when you've got, an acre of vegetables growing and hens outside and bees to look after. And we're getting pigs as well and cutting flowers and orchards. And, it's a big property. So it's a big commitment, but we absolutely love it. We really love it.
Wow. How fantastic. Tell us what it takes to make a house completely sustainable. Like it must consume so much energy and time.
It does. It's definitely, if you want to kind of be as sustainable as possible, it definitely takes a mindset change. And so it's just about getting into different rhythms, different kind of priorities, and kind of setting systems in place. Like our composting system only really started working this summer because it really took a year to really get going, like for the leafing compost and then a regular waste compost, and then we have coffee composting, and then we've got a wormeries. It takes a while for it all to start happening. So it's not like, I think a lot of the times, and I'd be one of those people as well, you want kind of results straight away. You want to see things like you want to say, oh, I'm being sustainable and see the result in a week. And it just doesn't happen like that. Even when you're planting seeds, they all take time. And if you're learning about it, they mightn't even come up, and hopefully then the next time you try, they will come up. And the bees were a big learning curve. I just thought, oh, we'll get a beehive, we'll pop it down there and they look after themselves. I get the outfit, open up the box and take them out. And it just doesn't work like that, and the hens as well. It all needs a slight commitment. But I think that there are certain things that we can all do, even today and tomorrow, like by just, turning off all the switches on our plugs. Like I'm obsessed with making sure that everything is unplugged in the house, so we're not using excess energy. Or that when you make your coffee, always think when you're making your coffee, do not throw out the coffee grinds, just keep them in a little bucket. And there are so many plants and vegetables that love coffee grinds.
Really?
Yeah, because they increase the pH acid level in the soil. And so all you have to do is just rub it through the soil. For things like vegetables that love it would be blueberries, which are in season at the moment, and radishes, and roses love it, rhododendrons love it. So, you just have to do a Google check and just check, okay, what plants you've got growing in the garden, and do they like acid loving soils? And if they do, then you can use your coffee grinds in there. And so, that's another big bulk that doesn't have to go into the landfill. So you're immediately, aiding on that. Or, just never buying a bottled water ever again. Like if none of us ever, bought a bottle of water again, we'd make a huge impact on the environment.
Absolutely. And do you ever miss the buzz of London?
I do, and then I just jump on the train. So I go in about once or twice a week, to see friends. I mean, obviously I won't be able to do it now for the next while because of all this lockdown. But definitely during lockdown, I've just loved being in the country. It's quite nice. I mean, the lucky thing about being in Ireland is that you always have kind of access, even if you're living in inner Dublin, you always have access to be near the sea or buy fresh air. But it's just that wasn't the same thing when I lived in London. You have to, make a plan and really travel. And during lockdown, you can't do that. So I'm so grateful for living in the country right now.
Oh, it sounds blissful. It sounds really, really beautiful. Do you see yourself living in Ireland again in the future, or is Broadspare your forever home now?
I think Broadspare is our home. We've put so much time and effort into it that we really feel that this is our home now. And we own the land and everything. So it's, I can't imagine us moving from here. But if there was ever a big windfall and my book went, bestseller all over the world, the first place that I'd buy a second home would be Ireland.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cork really must miss you, though. Cork is so beautiful.
Oh, Cork is so beautiful. I mean, I just love West Cork. I think it's one of my favourite places in the world. Skull and Glandore, all those beautiful, towns with the most fantastic farmers markets and pubs and great live music and great characters, interesting people living there. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you brought Harry back to introduce him to all of your family in Cork and friends?
Yeah, he absolutely loves it there. I think it's his favourite place in the world now. So we'd hoped to go back. We were going to go back for a month this summer, and all the plans changed. So anyhow, next year will be a better year.
That will all happen. You had your second date with Harry in the famous Highclere Castle.
No, I didn't. In Highclere Park, I had my second date.
Oh, I see. And what was that like, considering the vast amount of space, not to mention the grandeur of your surroundings?
God, it was really beautiful. I think I was kind of more engaged in kind of working out whether I wanted to date him than anything else. So obviously, it went well. We're engaged now.
Yeah, happy endings.
Yeah.
And Clodagh, your energy is infectious. I actually love following you on Instagram, and you're always so happy and you radiate positivity. You're just a really happy, energized person.
Oh, thank you so much.
You really are. You're like a ball of sunshine. I really like following you. And do you take good care of yourself? What's your secret?
I do. I'm really mindful about being happy, and I definitely believe that that it's a mindset, and it's an effort that you have to make. And then once you've kind of made it in the morning, if you're feeling a bit bleak in the morning, and you make the effort to be happy and decide, this is going to be a good day for me. It's important to do that, and it's important to get out and exercise and have fresh air, and I'll tell you one thing that has really definitely made me feel really good, quite, mentally. A few years ago, I decided that I would get up very early in the morning every day, kind of change my routine and get up at 6 and instead go into bed at 9. So I go to, or even sometimes 8:30, I'll bring a book up and listen to a podcast. And I got into that routine. And it's hard for the first few weeks, but once you get into that routine, it comes to like 8 o'clock and you're like, oh God, I want to go to bed. And you go up to bed and you bring up a nice herbal tea with you and put on a podcast and you fall asleep and then you wake up with the light. So it's really good for your mental health and your well-being. So I would, if anybody was thinking about making a change in, for their own mental state, I promise the best thing you could do for yourself is get to bed really early and like 8:30, 9 o'clock early. And then get up in the morning. And whenever I tell people, they're always like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do that. That's so odd. But actually, in fact, that's what we're supposed to be doing. So it feels odd the other way. Like when I hear about people staying up until 11 or 12, I'm like, that's odd. Like you shouldn't be doing that. Like that's not a good thing for you. It's not good for your mind and body. Yeah.
That's so true. Are you familiar with Arianna Huffington?
Yes.
She is a real advocate for going to bed early.
Oh, is she?
She would be saying, yeah, exactly what you're saying. She would definitely say is the healthiest way to live. Go to bed early, wake up early, and get loads of rest. And then keep your mobile phone out of the room and turn off all of your, PCs, laptops, and just relax. Yeah. With a herbal tea, a book, exactly as you described. So
yeah. It's important to start that routine, to have a little routine so that, your mind knows that you're going to bed.
Yeah. It's funny. I have a little 14-month-old baby and I have her in the same routine, in a routine. And I often think, gosh, if I could just get into the same routine I have her in, I probably would feel a hell of a lot better. Go to bed early, wake up early. And it's just better. It's definitely it's the best time for everyone. And are you a super organized person, Clodagh? Are you a woman of many lists?
I like having achievable lists every day. And I like discipline. I think discipline is like really healthy. It's funny, isn't it? All these things like discipline and going to bed early, they all sound like such kind of army traits or whatever, but they can give you so much freedom, as in like lots of mental freedom. I love discipline. I love the discipline of getting up early in the morning. I like the discipline of, doing the jobs that I'm supposed to do during that day. But I also like not loading too much onto my day, because then it feels like you're rushed and the day gets stressed and you're not doing things properly. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it's better to be prepared. And I would be the same. Definitely. And sort of giving yourself lists that, like you said, that are achievable, keep the stress levels down.
Definitely.
Given your career as a chef, is the kitchen the most important room in the house for you?
Yes. Yeah, it would definitely be. I love it. It's interesting. Any house that I've ever lived in, the first thing I've ever done walking through that door, the first time, is look at the kitchen and think, can I spend a lot of time in here? Yes or no? And if it's a yes, then I, move in. But yeah, it's the most important room. I mean, I think it's the most important room in any house, because it's the kind of the heart. It's where everybody goes into if you're going to make a cup of tea for somebody, and it's, where you cook up delicious food to warm everybody up and to nourish people. And it's a relaxed environment too. I don't know whether it's the heat in there or the fact that there's food around the place, or it's usually colourful area and it's relaxed. It's just that it's like a warm environment.
Yeah, it's cozy. It's where everyone wants to gravitate towards in the morning, in the evening. Definitely, it's the heart of the home. I agree.
Definitely.
And do you have a prized home cooking accessory or a utensil that you bring anywhere you travel?
Yeah, it's quite boring. But it's my microplane zester. It's I don't know, probably for about maybe nearly 20 years, it's been my number one tool. I mean, you just, and I get into it when I was doing a lot of cookery demonstrations before, the pandemic, I get into a panic if I didn't have it with me, because it says,
Really?
citrus fruits like so perfectly. It doesn't go into the white of the pith. And, if you're grating cheese from it, the cheese just, falls off like angel hair. It's just fabulous. I just love it. You can do, you can easily crush a garlic on it, very fast, or in your nutmeg, or it's brilliant.
Wow. And how would you describe your own personal style at home, interiors wise? What do you like?
What would it be like? I think it would be a mix of, oh gosh, I don't know. That's so hard to do. I don't know. For me, it's all about comfort. So I love things looking really comfortable. And I love having the seasons inside. So I love, usually on a Saturday morning, I'll do go and pick flowers and big, branches and things like that to have all around the house, because I love feeling the seasons in the house. And I love, lots of pictures on the wall. If you can hear the pitter patter of feet, which I'm sure you can, that's my dog Alfie.
Oh, how cute.
He just came pounding at the door and just but I guess would that be I don't know what my style is.
You like cozy, comfortable, homely, inviting?
Yeah, non-clutter.
Cottons, linens. Yeah.
I do. I love linens. I love fabrics. I love warmth. And I love natural textures. I love wooden floors, or tiled floors. I love big, freestanding baths, and I love open shelving. And lots of pictures kind of clustered together, like photographs and frames clustered together.
Lovely. So you like that kind of classic look, pared back classic.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
I think that's what it sounds like. What's the one thing that we don't already know about you that would surprise us all?
Oh my gosh. What would be? What would surprise people? I
think people will be surprised you go to bed early with a cup of herbal tea with all the energy you have. That's probably why.
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely people will be surprised by that. I would also, love dancing until about 3 a.m. So I'm definitely those that would I crave going dancing with my friends. But I'm quite happy to do that dancing in somebody's house rather than, I'm not really a club person. And what would oh my God. So I recently, so this is one that I've never admitted before. So I've never tasted, an ice cream that's one of those chocolate bar ice creams. Like they have the Twix ones and the Bounty ones. I've never tasted one ever. And then Harry brought back a box of Mars ice creams, and he's like, "This is going to be the first night you taste a Mars ice cream." And I was looking and going, the idea of it just revolts me. And she was like, "No, you just taste it," and it was one of the most delicious things I've ever tasted. I can't believe I'm admitting that. It was so good. I was like, keep those in I'll become so fat. But yeah, I couldn't believe how good it was. I'd all these years I've been missing out.
Life-changing experience for you.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So what motivates you in the morning? What do you think is the driver for you every day?
God, I love the morning time. I love the light and the silence. I love getting up early in the morning to see the beautiful light. There's so many beautiful trees around Broadspear. It's really spectacular. And I love seeing the light come through the trees. It's just, I know I won't get it again during the day. Where the sun rises, there's this beautiful woodland that is just in front of the orchard. And when that light comes up and there's a lake behind it, it's just, I love getting up to see that, and leaving the hens out and making our coffees and, bringing them up to the bed with the doggies and having like 10 minutes there, and then going out and doing a big walk around the park. And I love that morning. Everything gets so busy during the day that you never get that time back to yourself again.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect. It sounds just picturesque. Those little magic moments, hearing the birds and
nature. That expression of it'll be easier in the morning. Like there's a reason for that expression. That everything is just easier in the morning. Everything feels calmer and, doable. And so I always feel that. I always think, if there's something, a big project that I've got to do, or pressure to get something else done, or blah, 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 I always think, oh, you know what? It'll be easier tomorrow morning, and I'll do that first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's true. I've never thought of it that way, but that is actually very true.
Yeah, I think so.
A good night's sleep really is everything, isn't it?
It really is everything.
And what is Highclere Castle like? Is it magnificent?
Oh yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of my favorite ever TV programs. I think everybody I know would agree. It was just spectacular and so romantic and everything that you'd imagine it to be. And so every time I see you, I think of you and I think of Downton Abbey. I can hear the music playing in the background when I see you. And how important is social media to you, Clodagh?
It's really important. It's an amazing way to engage with people who are cooking your recipes, engage with people who might want to help with their cooking. And during lockdown, I trebled my amount of followers. And
wow.
It's a completely different space for me right now than it was a year ago. Now when I start my day, it's the first thing I think about, what am I going to cook and share with people today? Or, I've been asking people to go on and support me with the book. Okay, well, I've done enough asking now. I need to give it, and I need to give back now. I need to give people like lots of free recipes this week and show them how to cook it. And, because everybody has been so supportive with the book. And, so that goes through my head. It's like I've got like a really lovely community base there. And that's what I use it for. I know a lot of people use it for looking at other pages, inspiration. But for me, it's really all about that community and reading the DMs and getting back to people. And it's a really positive place.
Connecting with your followers, definitely. Yeah. And you do that very, very well.
Oh, thank you.
And what's Christmas like for you? What will Christmas be like this year?
I have no idea. That's the absolute truth. Somebody asked me that the other day and I was just like, I have no idea. It just all depends on what happens. It'll depend on where we'll be and who we'll be with. And we just have no idea whether the lockdown will continue or whether it'll be opened up or,
And in terms of cooking on Christmas, is that one of your favorite days of the year?
I don't think it's my favorite day of the year for cooking. I think my favorite day of the week for cooking is probably Saturday. I love cooking for dinner on a Saturday. So it's not like I love cooking so much that it's like Christmas for me is like, definitely the great turkey and all the rest, but it's more about like seeing people and kind of chatting and having a sing song and, having a few too many drinks or, going for big walks or taking a picnic, an outdoor picnic or something like that.
And who have been your role models and mentors in life?
Who've been my role models? I would think my mom, my sister, other people, and then like some really, good friends that I have that are, I've got a really good group of girlfriends. We call ourselves the honeypots, and there's like about 6 of us, and we have our own WhatsApp group. We meet all the time. We're like our own supportive network, and they would definitely be my mentors. They're all really great at what they do in their own work and life, and they would definitely be part of that. Yeah, those and my sister and my mom, I think.
Nice. And are you a spiritual person, Clodagh?
I think I would be. Yeah. Not so much spiritual that I go to mass.
No, I meant more spiritual. Yeah, not
but
the mass going.
no, I definitely be a spiritual person.
Definitely, I can imagine in the environment in which you live in. I mean, it's so beautiful. All you can do is just surround yourself with the beauty of everything, and I'd say you have a lot of gratitude each day.
Definitely a lot of gratitude.
And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
God, that's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Broadspare will be working completely as a sustainable setting and homestead, and that we'll be lots of people will be feel kind of inspired by it, and will be keeping their own hens, and that's what I want it to be. I want it to be a place where people can read about it on the website or on social media or on TV, etc., and that you can learn how to do it yourself in whatever setting you have.
I can hear your puppy in the background there.
I know.
And my final question to you, Clodagh, is if you could describe 2020 in 3 words, what would they be?
Good question. Challenging. Spiritual. And dream catching. As in, like,
I love it. Dream catching.
I actually did do it.
That's fantastic. I love it. Dream catching. That's definitely a first. Love it. And I'm just going to ask you very quickly on a side note. It's called the Quickfire round of questions, where I ask you one or the other and you just give me an answer. One or the other. Are you ready?
Okay.
Cookbooks or cookery shows?
Books.
Beehives or orchards?
Beehives.
Fruit or vegetables?
Vegetables.
Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
Singing or dancing?
Both.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Half glass empty or half glass full?
Half glass full.
England or Ireland?
Ireland.
Locked in or locked out?
I'm locked in.
And my final question, 2020 or 2021?
2020. Be present.
I love it. Good answer. Well, thank you so much, Clodagh, for joining me today on Shut the Front Door. And I wish you and Harry all the best in your future, and happy times ahead for you and all your hens.
Oh, thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye.